Hi class, this is your video feedback for your portfolios this week. And so we're just going to jump right in. We'll start with Kiana. I love the colors and things that you've selected. Looks really great. I'm just going through these as a first-time user, so you're going to get my first impression, which is the most helpful to you. I think I would make these a little bigger. As much as I like this is nice and easy to read. That's a good logo for you. But I think I would put this in all caps. And I have read through a little bit. I do glanced over some of the content, but I think we want to get in, since we don't really have an about page that's separate, I think we really want to get into your content a little quicker. So maybe something like this, and then maybe your logo here on the left, and your navigation over here, but and maybe maybe a title here, about or my photography. We just need to get into your work sooner, so we don't have so much white space up here. We want to get into the main real estate there. You want your photos to be the same dimension, and it looks like the one we just passed was maybe a little wider, so that may mean that you have to go into your original and make sure that they're consistent, or reselect the images that you use. But that's really what you want to come down to, is make sure that they work together. All right, nice shots. Let's see. So I guess the other page would be your blog. Okay, nice and clean. All right. It's a simple site. I don't see a place yet. I like this. I like this image. Clean. I don't see a place yet for your resume to start. So you may have another page for some of your work experience. All right. And that will grow. And you'll have more to add, but I think you need to begin that. All right, good job. All right, it's a very interesting aesthetic, and I liked the tone that you provided when you turn this in. We have a little bit of a problem seeing this font, so you'll either need a very soft drop shadow behind it, or somehow have to move your image over or something so that we can read that. All right. This starts to get lost a little too. The colors here you're going to want to work on. Since we can't really read that silver on the blue. The blue, you might, it's kind of a, I know you wanted something that was fun to look at, and that works with the pink, but you might also look at a green or one of these colors. Pick up a color from your image here. I don't really see blue in this, and so that's kind of an issue. All right. Okay. Nice photo. Okay. And you have the blue down here again. Okay. Let's bring this, edit this to where we're right the same depth as your photo. Yeah, you want to do that. If you're going to underline this, I wouldn't. I actually would prefer to see the icons here, if you want to put those down there. And one of the things you want to watch for is when your drop-down shadow covers your content, as it is here. That means that either you want to shorten this, with just one drop-down. Maybe these lines may be taking up some space that you possibly need. That means you would bring it up a little bit in your drop-down. You maybe could get 2 in your drop-down. So that's something to think about. Yeah, and I think you want to make this a sticky navigation so that it scrolls with it. I know it's nice when you get down here, but you're covering your images, which are really great, by the way. Love it. Okay. Works really well there. Well, we just have to figure this background out back here. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So your body of work is sufficient for you at this time. The quality is good, and it's laid out nicely. It's really just this drop down that I think you're going to need to work on, and fixing this in a stationary place so it doesn't, cover anything. This gets a little lost. We have the rules here, but we can't really see them. Probably you want to make a rectangle that, a box that has maybe a very light opacity, and just, works as a background for this. That's one way. Or you can move it over. But essentially the lines that we have here, and we're not finding what we need. It's not legible enough. So probably you just ran out of time and you saw that. So really great start on your portfolio. Great work that you have in there. Just some tweaks on the layout and functionality. Okay. Now here you indicated that you are including some of the things that inspire you, right? That would be really good on a blog, all right? If this is not the work that you have actually taken, which from what I could see, these weren't your photos. So what I want you to do, since they're not, you need to give credit to the photographers and where they came from. But this would be blog content. But even so, you're going to make sure that the images that you have are free to use. That's something you'll have to check on because there's a lot of name brands in these, all right? Okay, so this is an interesting image of the background. It's always inspiring to see young people out there doing their thing, but and so saying that you're 19, 22, the things that I see usually, that's fun to read, but it means that you have to constantly update your site, and so typically we don't put our age. I don't have a problem with it, but you need to know that you'll have to update it probably very soon. You're probably going to be 20 before long. But you can get away with certain things when you're 19. As far as asking for the type of work that you want. and saying how you feel about it. Let's make sure we don't have a word by itself on a line, a little orphan like that. I like how you've kept your font consistent with your headers. They are different sizes. Okay. Okay, so you have your work here. Okay, this has a lot going on. I think this, if you can pull it off, it needs a little space. You see, it shouldn't be connected to this line. It's a detail, but it really shouldn't be there at all. That shape to make this thing work, which means it needs to be open to have this similar aesthetic. So perhaps if you made it this color, or something that blended a little better, but we're kind of jumping all over the place with our palette with this blue and so forth. So I'm just kind of tying it together a little bit. I'm not sure you need this title here. I think we can see that these are your social media. I probably would make these smaller, maybe half the size. Okay. All right. So it's pretty direct. You're saying, what you do. But really what we want to see here for social media is the kinds of things that you're posting, right? And ideally, that's going to be for a client, the kinds of things that you're promoting for them. So, like you have your longboard and things like that. You want to produce things that you can share through social media. Just be mindful of other people's pics. All right? All right. All love for the internet. Okay. And about you, let's see what we've got. Okay. Nice photo. I think we can, well, we can't really crop in because of the resolution, but I feel like I want to have this cropped off at least, right? And this cropped off so that it's some straighter lines. And all right, Kiara, let's go back. Okay, I think these would work best if they were centered. These images should be center aligned. And make sure that, let's see. I think you would like this better if it was smaller and had a shape around it. That's going to be my suggestion. And maybe not as bright gold, but you can work on that and consider what it's going to be like with your style guide. That's something that I want to see this start to come together in a particular style, like the guide that was submitted or considered. All right. All right. I'm glad you have this. Okay. Okay. I'm going to get any kind of clipping. And it looks like this is, that's entered. Is this entered? This will all need to be entered so that these things can be searchable. All right. All right. J. Okay, I looked through this a little bit. I like that your drop down clears. You could say branding here and content creation instead of branding and strategy and content and creativity. Just a suggestion. And you'll want to try and make sure these align. If it means making this image a little bigger so that it flush aligns with this, bringing this down a little bit so you have the same amount of space. That's something you want to do. And yeah, make sure that you have everything aligned. All right. I would take this and bring it all the way over to the left. Left align your context. It's good that you have that. You've said that you produced and directed. That's what people want to know. What was your role with that? So I would go ahead, flush that left. Same here, everything align it left. And I would go ahead and put this down here and just have the 4 and have them aligned. Okay. And then I would probably put this at the bottom, this Works Gallery, and have your video at the top. This is a little hard to read. You might find a way to get this to be a little bigger. I know it aligns with your name, but a little tough to read. It won't size down very well or be very easy on mobile. Okay. We can cut this down just a little bit. Okay. And I love this that you have here. You also have it on your contact page to leave a mark. So I really like that. So ideally you want your text to be as deep as your image, okay, and align with that. This image has a lot of yellow in it. You might want to take it into Lightroom and kind of work with the color a little bit there. You could even, and I would suggest putting it on the right because your shoulders are facing in, and here it has them facing out. So if you were put it over here, they would be facing into the content, into the page without the eye drifting off the page. That's kind of a rule there. This is all entered, very good. That makes it searchable. A little more breathing room, a little more space between the headers and the text and the paragraphs. Try to keep your, edit to where you don't have just one word on a line. Possibly, not always, but possibly you could reduce or edit the wording here a little bit. Maybe not, but and maybe these are things that came with your description of the job, and that's good too. But at any rate, let's give it some breathing room, a little space after your headings for sure. All right. Okay. I'm glad you have that. How about bringing this out a little further? I know it'll drop it to 2 lines, but that's all right. And go ahead and put the icons for LinkedIn and your Facebook. You can choose an icon search for an icon that fits the aesthetic of your website. And that would work. All right. All right. And you have your blog, which is going to, tell people a little bit about you. But right now, I would disable that and only use this. I wouldn't take it to your student blog. I would make this for your professional material. And just things that have to do with the kinds of things that are work related to you instead of your student blog. All right? All right. Good job. Trevor. Okay. This looks like your student blog. So let's see if we get to your site. Okay. You want to make sure we have some padding here. And maybe write just a little more and break it up into a couple of paragraphs. The color is good. It works really well. Okay. So I'm not sure if these are your photos, but it's a nice layout. This background may not be working with what you had. I think you have a mountain background in places. Yeah, it's possible that this layout would work with a different background, but right now the background is competing. So either it has to be dropped back in opacity or replaced with something that is simple. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Probably, if this isn't going to be a blog per se, with your social media and your posts, this could be put on a page, on each page. Yeah, and you don't want your actual website to have your student blog, which is what you have here. All right. And so the social media should be, placed somewhere else. At the bottom is fine. Go ahead and change the text here, down here where you have 2023. And this style is by Sasha, so you want to go ahead and put your name. All right? All right, good work. Michael. All right. Okay, so this is a lot of your student work, which is fine. Student work is absolutely fine. I'm not sure your proposal presentation is the best thing to have here. Looks fine here. It can be here when it comes to work. Just not sure it belongs in this slider. Okay, these are going to be images and projects that describe themselves right away visually, rather than clicking to it. Okay, this photo, you'll want a new professional shot only because of the resolution. It's a nice photo, but the resolution isn't sufficient for that size. And, okay. And this is all right. So is this download? Okay. What you want to do for your resume is make sure you can create a page for it, that it's searchable. So the content has to be entered for that. The other thing I would do is I would move your navigation up because we have to scroll down to find it. All right. Consider this text and bringing it, either center it or something it's not really centered. And of course this needs to be a different color so we can see it. Okay. All right. But your logo's fun. It's always great when your name has the same letters at the beginning of each. Let's see. Okay. Okay, yeah, that contact needs to be worked on. All right. All right. Really good work this month. Let's see. All right, so if we don't have a blog, make sure you get something in there right away, because otherwise you just want to disable that. So my recommendation is that you disable it until you have something, all right? Okay. So we want to make sure those aren't cut off. And again, the same thing here, make sure that your drop downs are not covering your work, which means you'll have to, reconsider how you have things. When you take out the blog, you might be able to just separate design and photography, or something like that. Okay, nice work. Yeah, so design should be its own page maybe. And then video and photography, which can be further down so that it clears everything, clears the titles. Nice icon use. Okay. It's a very nice aesthetic, and I love that you have the type is consistent. Your headers are consistent. All right, so that's really the only thing you have is the blog should be disabled, and your drop-down menu, a little bit of rearranging. All right, but really good work, good job, and just the right amount of info. You could have a form if you wanted it, but contacting you may be just fine. And you'll want to make sure that these hook up to your link to your social media instead of Wix. All right. All right. Good job. Okay. So this is a really nice shot, and I like this layout. The design is great. It works. The question is, we say you're a blogger, so that's going to be your tagline, basically, what you tell people your service is. But then we have a portfolio. So you're not just a blogger, right? So basically, you're a branding strategist. So that's what I think you'll want to put here is branding. It will help you get work. You can also talk about being a blogger, and you can talk about the influence you have, especially if you have some numbers to back that up. And then that will bode well for you when you go to meet with a client. All right. Okay. All right. And this works, it's laid out very nicely like a professional blog. the challenge is it's, your student blog. The work is good. The work is nice and laid out. And this is something I recommend to all of you, is that you use mock-ups for the work that you're showing, that you've created while you're in the program. Okay. All right. Good job. Looking forward to seeing more work from you. Good work. Okay, the spelling on this you want to look at, okay? Okay, public relations, we get that down here. Let's get that. So it says specialized consulting services. I think that's where you're going to want to put public relations. All right. Okay. Okay, so it's laid out nice. There's one thing that you want to do, and that is we want to get into the content much quicker. Like take some of this space out, bring it up, and you really want this page to start about here. So if that means you've got to maybe reverse this, put it white on black, and get that up to here, right there. Close this up a little bit. That may be what you have to do, because we don't get into the work till we're all the way down here scrolling. So we want to make sure we don't scroll very much, right? We want this to change so we know which page we're on as well, the navigation. Let's see. Let's keep the margin the same between your paragraphs and your images. If that means that you have to size this down to be the same width, then we should do that. Perhaps size this up so it's the same width as this, and get these things aligned, all right? And this is going to your LinkedIn. Very good. All right. Good job. Grace. All right. Always capitalize I. And go ahead and set these up to your Facebook and your social media. Make sure that your aesthetic and your style guide is carried over. All right, so definitely want to fill in the placeholder text. All right, so you do want to go in and put your own work in here with paragraphs. Okay, so basically this needs quite a bit of fleshing out. All right, you've got your photo in here, and that's good, but a lot more needs to be worked on with this one. All right, good start. Orange. Okay, nice and clean. Alrighty. Okay, need to have a navigation somewhere. We don't want to have to scroll to your contact. So, and treat everything as if it is a screen page. So where you have your breaks and everything, you're going to bring this down a little bit, align it, maybe put it under contact so it's down here, so that we don't have multiple things breaking like this. Okay, make it a clear distinction there. But this is a great front page. It's very good. We just need to have a contact. And, okay, you say videographer. The thing about it, we say videographer, but there's no videos here. It's all right. All right. All right, good job. Okay. All right, everybody. Good work, and a little more content you'll be filling out as you go, and make sure that you tweak your aesthetics as you are going through the program, and then make sure that you carry that aesthetic, that brand, across all your social media and all your media, you know, with overlays on your videos of your logo, etc. All right, good job.